out with programming codes and he claims part of the IP ownership. This happens a lot, you know. There are a lot of volunteers, a lot of people helping each other out. I see this happening at the University of Maastricht all the time with people. He knows this, he knows that, he works on that part. But the ownership of what you are doing, it becomes very blurry. It's just not that you, because you opened up the company with the trade register, that you own everything. No, you have to deal with this. Basically, everything you create as a person stays with you, or you transfer it to a company or a person who wants it. So remember that basically everything you create yourself stays with yourself, or you dealt with that in the contract. This happens all the time. You know, you're really enthusiastic about opening up your new company. You came up with the name, and then you register the URL. You register it under your own name because you didn't have the company yet. And then, you know, it's the same principle as the number one thing I mentioned. Transfer, please, the ownership of the URL to the company. It shouldn't stay with you personally, because that will decrease the value of the company in the end. You think that registering a trade name is sufficient to protect the brand. When you go to the trade register, you open up a company. That company name is protected as a trade name, een handelsnaam, we call it in the Netherlands, which is quite a good law applicable to trade names, and your trade name is protected. Unfortunately, this is not a trademark protection, it's not a brand protection. So if somebody else steals your name 2 years later and registers that name at the Benelux Merkenbureau, the Benelux Office of Intellectual Property, then they will basically be the owner of that name. You will lose your name. So be aware of that. Having a name at the trade register does not protect your brand. This is a mistake I see, unfortunately, a lot. This is maybe a bad example, but you were very enthusiastic about the name TweetDeck for your new social media company. Why is that a bad idea? Because TweetDeck already exists as a social media company, of course. Now, if you want to open up a bakery called TweetDeck, there is not a problem. Because TweetDeck, the original US company, is not into bread and buns, etc., etc. They are into social media. Please do a thorough check of whether the name you considered is possible in the area of business you are in. I see this, unfortunately, I see this happening all the time, that people have an established company and then someone comes along and says, you cannot use your name anymore. You have to change your company's name, which can basically be commercially, you know, yeah.
But there's also a way you could